Well, General Sejusa returned to Uganda without notifying his previous colleague for his inflammable statements. It was expected Sejusa, in a breach of military doctrine, which would tantamount to his arrest and be tried for treason, as the government had earlier echoed. Yet he was received by Uganda's domestic spy chief, Brigadier Ronnie Balia. Was this intended to be read as thank you for the job well done?
It is not true at all that Museveni deployed Sejusa to go and spy. That is certainly not the case. I have no doubt about it at all. Sejusa has his grievances. Arising out of those two elements, how to manage power within the NRM, and you know Sejusa's complaints were about the last elements of his complaints were centered around the Muhoozi project. They were centered around how he was being treated in the reward system, being evicted by Musisi, being harassed by the money available to his department, being slashed whimsically, you know, at the whims of some person. These are the elements that caused the disgruntlement within the system.
Following all those statements that he had made, if it was any other person, he would be rounded up immediately on arrival at the airport.
Yes.
So even if he was to be hauled to prison today, but there's some suspicion, please say that.
You see, that
would
suspicion,
that still be part
that is the suspicion,
of the game to hoodwink?
that is the. Don't forget that there are many people out there who still think, even me, after 15 years of battling very, serious engagements with Mr. Museveni, there are many people who say, no, even Besigye is Katemba. Besigye is working with Museveni. Actually, these are Museveni voices who would like Ugandans to believe that any strong opposition to Museveni is a Museveni creation, which Ugandans should not take seriously. This is nonsense. Mbabazi is battling Museveni for real issues. I know for sure. Certainly for power. Sejusa is and has battled Museveni previously for real issues. Now, whether Sejusa himself is able to stick it out and battle, that is a different matter.
Would you be surprised if Sejusa was used as a decoy to incriminate other individuals who in turn will be the real jailbirds ahead of the 2016 presidential
You see, even if he was to spy, why expose the regime the way he has? How does that benefit the regime? You know? Some of the information that has been exposed can be used even to drag Museveni to the ICC, and I think that's why the ICC is a big worry for Mr. Museveni now. So, I also know that many people are opposed to Sejusa operating as an opposition element because of the baggage he has. It is Sejusa who has been terrorizing us, traumatizing us, or his system. The system he was superintending over.
Why are you convinced that General Sejusa is now ready to fight the tyrannic regime? Yet we know the just concluded election, this very man was at the center of stage managing, of setting up unconstitutional Starling Center at Basima House that later changed the entire, what would be the entire outcome?
You see, again, I have no reason whatsoever to trust Sejusa. And I cannot go out there and vouch for what he is or is not, what he plans to do or what he doesn't plan to do. I have no reason. And I have no benefit in trying to either place him as a person to rely on or not to rely on. There is nothing for me. For all I care, Sejusa, from his history, has been changing all the time. The other time he was before Museveni, saying he had been seized by demons. That's why he that's why he was talking against Museveni. So for me, I don't know whether he's seized by demons or not. That is not for me. That is for Sejusa to talk for himself.
The Ugandan diaspora community that had rallied support behind him to an extent of even forming a party called Free Uganda are now portraying it as a big betrayal. From your independent analysis or the way you look at things, is this a big betrayal?
If there are individuals out there who were rallying behind Sejusa, they are the ones to blame. Why should you rally around an individual? But if they were rallying around ideas in which Sejusa was one of those rallying around those ideas, then they should not be bothered where Sejusa is. If Sejusa betrays those ideas, they continue with their ideas. The ideas should not and need not depend on what Sejusa is doing. This is what I'm saying.
Well, thank you very much, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, for being part of this interactive news segment where I host people of sound mind like you to give way forward what is playing out on the political scene of this country.
My pleasure and Happy New Year to all Ugandans.
Thank you very much.